ended up, I couldn't find the book, so I downloaded, read it before the Dragon Tattoo, Girl with the Dragon Tattoo.
Oh, yeah. You like it?
Oh, I love the book,
I like them.
Who couldn't love Lisbeth Salander? Yeah,
Maybe I should read it.
but I will get it. Hear that, or I'll skim through it.
I know. Ditch the Moby Dick crap.
Yeah.
He's moving into the law of attraction. I'm like, blah, blah, blah.
In that book?
And one after that. Two
Wow.
after that.
I can see where the book will turn off a lot of people. I mean, it comes on pretty strongly.
Oh, yeah. He comes out even stronger.
Yeah.
He goes into great detail on how exceptional a breed he is.
He's a rare man,
Yep.
so he says.
What is it?
Lay your claim.
Yeah, hot chocolate. This is mint tea with hot chocolate laid over the top. So it's basically like mint chocolate. First you brew the tea
Interesting
for a little
idea.
bit. This has to be about more than just hot chocolate.
I hope not.
Gotta be about more than just chocolate. We can't really be about this next one. Yes. Another winter's here. I've been watching Game of Thrones, binging it, and they keep talking about the winter's coming and the winter's long, and it's part of all the songs, and the winter's supposed to be 5 years long when it gets here, but it's like season 3.5, and that's what becomes before spring here. No wonder you're binging, you're trying to get to winter. You can match up.
What have you been watching for that?
Some, but not as much as they do. I had to.
When it's older, you're gonna get the show whole.
I don't care about it that much actually. It's not like I'm like, ooh, unfortunately, none of take blood that you in it. There's a big portion of the show that I don't see. That's a good many shows.
Before I came here tonight, I bought a big Dave and the Christmas present. And I wondered how much it's all gone.
We can hook you up if that's what you're saying.
No, it was just, a float. I thought, I was getting my jacket or whatever. Dave in the jar. Then Jeff Price looking not much different than he does right now.
It's a secret plot to kill Jeff. And I think it was actually underneath the covers funded by Clearwater or something. Either that or one of the people that's going fleeing out the door. They've all gotten together. Either they take some action.
I don't know what you're talking about.
The secret plot to take Jeff down.
Oh, get that.
Secret plot to do what?
I'm moving into fiction. Looks like Jim. I don't know if you know. We started?
Oh, yes.
It's a masterpiece.
Broadcasting pithy silence.
This is the opportunity to center yourself. Do a couple of heartfelt poems.
That's right.
Settle into your chair.
Ground and
Terry,
open your heart and
meditate for 10 minutes.
meditate.
Open your heart. Open your sphincter.
Yeah.
Get ready.
One out up here.
I didn't say which one.
Yeah, that's true.
Ileocecal valve.
Did you ever
Open your
think you're
ileocecal
Nancy
valve.
Sphincter?
She's too spiritual for that.
Isn't that the James Bond spy film? About spectrum.
Any topics?
It's not like we trade realities with the reality trade group. That'd be sort of fun. That's a novelty.
Who do you think we'd invite in?
I don't know, we can just trade amongst ourselves. That'd be a good start.
A reality trait.
Trade my reality for yours. Try it on. Sort of a Vulcan thing.
That would be fun.
That might be an interesting thing, because if people got to see the world through somebody else's eyes, they might have a lot of compassion for that person.
Or drink more.
People got to see through things through my eyes, they know I had a drinking problem.
I like the level of fiction that goes on and what you think is really going on over there. And how easily it is to just prove it. Screw it up just about every time. Usually fiction. You have no idea what's going on over there. We barely have any idea what's going on here.
I don't know what the difference is between over there and here. Is there a difference?
You versus me.
It's like
That body gets louder. That supposed mind gets.
Didn't John Malkovich, you see that movie?
Okay.
It's funny. I mean, it's odd, funny, odd. they find a portal on the 13.5 floor or something like that in the elevator.
Okay.
If but somehow it's not, on one of the regular numbers. But it's a very short floor. And it's only midgets that are on that floor. There's only about 4 feet high or something. Maybe 4.5. And I can't remember, that's so long time ago. Anywhere there's this little room, all these little doors, and you go in this little room, down this chamber, and it's all like, you're going down, it's like a cave or something. And it opens up into this room, and all of a sudden you're seeing through the eyes of John Malkovich, and you're hearing his thoughts. And you're sort of sharing the experience with John Malkovich. But there's still you, the viewer,
Okay.
and John Malkovich, because there's like, hey, what's this? What are you? Who are you? What are you doing? Am I me? But fanciful. Wrong.
Fanciful?
No, that's not good.
Fanciful?
Fanciful.
Fantastic? Fantastical?
Fantastic. Something like
Humunculus.
that. About it.
Does anybody here know what a humunculus
Yeah.
is?
Well, it's the little me, right?
Huh.
It's the little center of who you are. It's the one at the controls. It's like in the,
New kind of cloud?
I'm thinking of it as the one at the control center in that movie that we just saw.
That's not what I was told recently. Yep, humunculus.
What is it? Smarty Pants.
See if anybody else knows.
On Sesame Street?
Snuffleupagus, that's who I thought of too.
I'm kidding.
I'm
Snuffleupagus.
pretty sure that's what it is. What is it?
Apparently it's from like Encyclopedia Britannica, and they refer to something called the homunculus, and it's a picture of a human where they take the areas that have the most nerve endings and are
Oh,
the most
it's
sensitive and
distorted.
distort it and make it like really big ears, really big lips,
Oh.
really huge tongue, monster feet. My dentist didn't say anything about genitalia, but he did like mention some of the major areas that you would have serious
I know what you're talking
intensity of
about.
sensation and nerve
But
endings
I
in the human body.
really don't think that's.
And you put all those together, supersized, and create
Yeah.
a human.
A homunculus on a, like a regular body with supersized everything. That's what he said. He
But
was
it's
so proud of
usually
himself.
shown, that's depicted as this, weirdly shaped,
Yes,
big eyes and ears, and all the
Yep.
senses are big. And
Yep. that's what he described to me, and I just felt totally in love
I
with it.
don't know. Well, let's do some more boardwalk and look it up further. Because I think it's the little me. It's the one that.
I
makes
predict you're right,
decisions
but I
or-
believe my dentist, he was so
I
proud
like
of
the
himself.
homunculus.
I love the word.
It probably doesn't exist,
Homunculi and Snuffleupagus.
How would you
Harry
spell
Potter.
human?
Harry Potter
word.
word.
Like word thing.
H-U-M-O, right? Human? No, it's.
Human, human,
H-U-M-U? Monk?
keep going.
H-U-M-O.
Okay,
K.
It'll
C.
spell correct.
keep going.
C.
H-U-M-Q-O-N.
C.
Human. C. Whoops, I put in Z. Homunculus. Ooh, humunculus. A very small human or humanoid creature. Historical. A supposed microscopic but fully formed human being from which a fetus was formerly believed to develop. It's a noun. Okay. This is, oh, wait. I have a picture. Yeah. Did you get the picture?
This cartoon?
Yeah, that's the homunculus. Exactly what I was returned.
Like a mini-me, he'd said it, mini-me, right?
My homunculus is much cuter than that one. Sorry,
If you
Celia.
do say so yourself.
Tap
You
it
see it?
again. The brightness went off, we just tapped.
Big lips.
Yeah.
It's important. I don't look that up. No, just for the record, the penis is really small. Hands, the lips,
Well, it
heads are
depends on when it
big,
was
but-
taken. It was taken of an old man.
Oh, no, the other one.
If it was a teenage homunculus, you'd be a big.
Yeah, you wouldn't see much anything else.
Yeah, I see.
I think I have a neighbor
There's other
that
ones.
looks like a homunculus. And I think he runs around like that too. He's a little weird. He makes this appearance every once in a while.
Have other people seen this? Character? There's this,
He, never mind. I think he's like,
You could write a book, The Homunculus Next Door.
he's not next to me. He's down at the bottom of the hill and there to the left. And I ended up in a conversation with the guy. Anyway, this guy might be like one of these old guys that's like on, porn sites or something. I don't know. We're trying to pick out girls or something weird. Because there's some comment he made to the guy. That's right. Anyway, he's an old guy and he kind of like his.
Do you ever get hungry to just like push aside everything that's kind of normal in your life? Like the normal routine and movement and just stop?
Yes.
That just stopping, even when I go to sleep at night, just the
That's what you
stopping
want
is
to do.
heaven. Like, I'm getting hungry to just stop, and not stop as in rustle up a trip or have to like pack and go, just stop.
Slow it all down. Yes.
well, it's nice to do that, throughout the day.
I do that actually, because my job is not that demanding right now, just like,
I don't do that very much right at the moment.
being busy, so,
Yeah, it's just a lot.
so much in our normal day-to-day lives, it's constant. Even at home, when I have open space, like, there's always that little voice that says, don't, like, this could go on all day, you could get absolutely nothing done, and all this shit that's like piled up is eventually gonna have to be done, so you might as well do something. And then I get going, so much for that open space. But I create myself with much of it's self-created. And I actually think it's a somewhat unconscious strategy not to be swallowed by the walls and be quiet and no movement,
What is the storage?
to escape from worry.
Making sure that there's always something to do.
Yeah, like it's chatting with another person who I know about the experience of just like not being able to, like being invited kind of to slow down by life situation and just going, oh my God, give me something to do.
It's the idea of boredom, it's the concept of boredom, I think, the fear
Yeah.
of boredom,
Yeah,
the knowledge that there have been times when there's been nothing going on, you've been bored, and the fears that that will happen again.
yeah, yeah. For me, it feels a lot like depression. Like, don't stop moving and make the depression. And it's not like I've ever even really been particularly depressed in my life. Right, because I want to keep moving.
You keep moving, it won't catch you.
I seem to exhibit, to myself at least, certain things that are in common with depression. I don't have great appetite. Well, I had steak the other day, and man, that was really good. That was different.
Them cows, they're tasty.
But for the most part, I don't have a great appetite. I could eat half the meal and just walk away, you know. I'll watch movies and it's like, you know, except for the rare movie.
Mhm.
You know, 1 out of 5 that I see. Yeah. But for the most part, I'll watch something and I'll get up and leave, you know.
Yeah.
Or I'll put my headphones on, like, you know, just listen to something else. I just don't, but I don't feel depressed.
Yeah. If the flame is kind of just,
Yeah, it's
the
like,
flame is kind of just flickering out.
I don't feel like this what's it, the mundanity of it, you know what I mean?
Homuncularity of it all.
It's like, I don't want to be in this scene, you know? Again, you know, I've seen it in different variations many times before. And
You know,
to
when you're
see it
younger,
again.
there's like, you're just on fire for so many things, and as you get older, it just kind of seeps out of you, and you want to be on fire for something, you're just not. But the only thing I can get on fire for anymore is just to get angry at particularly.
You know that sound of the motor when the coffin is going down into the, that's a nice sound.
Yeah.
Mm,
Yeah, it feels like there's kind of like a sense of drowning in this slowing down of getting older. I didn't like it. And I'm not really taking it to the
Well, it seems like recently, the last few weeks, I've been hit on different sides with this idea of death from getting older, you know? I had lunch with a friend from 25 years or more ago that I worked with. And I'm talking to him because he was working at the company that we both worked at not that long ago. And it's like a surprising few individuals like up and died, you know, and the one got Alzheimer's and he wasn't that much older, but, you know, just early, I guess, I wouldn't want to say Alzheimer's, but it's like, whoa. All these other folks are dying. It's like the season. It's like, man, alive, or man, not alive. Not that I'm depressed by it. It's just like,
Time's running out.
Tomorrow. Time's running out.
Or you could just be dead tomorrow. You can go to bed tonight and that's it.
There's underlying kinds of sort of desperation and holy fuck. Really? Can't we
Well,
slow this down?
it's something that probably, I think that you brought it up last week, Jeff, and I have this inclination to try to get things done and make lists and stuff like that. It's like, well, shit, I'll be doing that too. You know, the fear is that I'll be doing that till the day I die. I don't mind making lists sometimes, but I mean, you know, right now, I'm making it with a big marker, you know, it's like these things, I gotta get them out of the way so I can like relax. And, you know, that kind of sets up a background of anxiety, you know.
I was walking around my house, like, and I felt sort of surreal in my house, like, I was just walking through my house and everything was very quiet, and I felt almost like a ghost, like I wasn't there or something. And then I was thinking about my parents, and they've been blind now for a while. And then I was thinking about something this guy said years ago, which was actually a little shocking to me, like a wake-up call. He said, you know, every 100 years, everybody's wiped out. There's like a whole new, like all the people that existed 100 years ago don't exist anymore. Well, except for maybe, you know, I mean, most of them.
he just died. The last one.
Yeah. You know? And it's like, who was it that said that? Which one? Smoke through a keyhole. It's just like, whoosh. Like,
Yeah, but it's 100 years that keeps every moment, going forward or back, if you want to put it that way.
We all know about it, but it's like, nobody really thinks it's gonna happen with me.
What, that you're gonna die?
Yeah, but it's starting to get more closer.
Did you see Francine's new?
I didn't
image?
know what it was, I just got to this
You didn't know
part, it
what it
was really
was?
gross.
On her Facebook page?
Yeah, it's her new, what do you call it?
Like blood or guts or something.
Her picture or whatever. Yeah, it's just a picture of a wolf that's been like gnawed away by, well, somebody said a raccoon. It sure doesn't look like a raccoon.
She didn't want it?
It looks like a wolf to me. I mean, it might be a raccoon, but it sure looked like a wolf.
I think she's going to have enough copies of good files. She can put that picture somewhere. Next week.
But, it's like a critter that still looked like what he was to a certain extent. But he was gone from the neck down, So you just saw a little bit of fur. But he still carried something about this species. I thought it was kind of cool. Her mother didn't like it too much.
I didn't.
Well, no,
Probably called Francine and said, "Are you cutting again?"
Luli didn't like it.
Yeah, that. I'm a girl. Yeah. You can get all morbid and just figure, I'm gonna die, but the reality is it's still something you have to deal with. It doesn't go away. It's, okay, you're awake, let's do something, come on, we got some energy, let's go. You can agonize over, holy shit, I'm gonna die, at the same time you're saying, jeez, you just leave me alone. So big, why?
Did you want to select from any of those topics, or do you want to talk about them all?
It's a little potpourri, isn't it?
you let us
There's
just
a
go.
common
You
thread.
let us go.
It's all morbidity.
We tossed out homunculus, we tossed out death.
Hmm,
Like,
yeah.
yeah,
Nice.
some juicy shit.
I had an interesting experience this week.
Hmm,
So, in this ACA group, right, I got triggered by somebody. I won't go into the gory details of it, but I got triggered by something. And I mean, really triggered by something. And it was like, stirring the pot of some reoccurrence of something that occurred, whatever, an issue for me. And I was just like not sleeping over it and agitated and made up a whole big story about it. And it's all like fodder for ACA material of like, I don't even know what the terminology is. It doesn't matter. You know what the issue is. So all of a sudden I got the bright idea to call the lady who I was in this conflict, major conflict. And I called her and I talked to her and she said, it's your perception, your issue of what occurred. I don't think that's the case at all. And all of a sudden it clicked to me. I can't argue with that. She's absolutely right. It is my perception. And it doesn't even matter what occurred. I won't spare you guys the details of that. But
Thank you.
but the
Yes. How about
result-
now? Exactly. How about now?
What do you mean?
So to inhabit your present experience
Right.
with some kind of justification or urgency or interest, right? You do that through, let's say, activized and or so-called selective perception.
Right. I got activized selective perception.
Yeah, I mean, your ongoing, call it present experience, has to be accompanied by some kind of activization that, right, evaluates the so-called situation, circumstance, or space that you're in, and what your, let's say, optimal or available behavioral options are. Like if you're driving, you obey the speed limit and the red lights and the stop signs, and you use turn signals and you check your mirrors and, you participate in the flow of traffic. When you're in the office, you're in a certain kind of a role play, right? If you're home with your partner or a friend or an animal, you're in a certain kind of role play. If you're wherever you are alone, then you have, so-called different behavioral options.
Doesn't it seem like it is totally inevitable? Doesn't matter. Whatever it is, it's totally inevitable. It's like the Presbyterian idea. It is written, that's the way it is. And the only escape is just to let it be. Let it be. It is written. You're going to have this attitude. Of course you're going to have this attitude. You got this whole set of wiring, if you want to think of it that way, and this whole experience thing and this affect from the other person. Bang, there's a product there. Just like wonder, step back and wonder about that.
Well, sure, there's that, and also there's the curious observation that it can be unwritten.
It might as well be. I mean, certainly we can't do it. There can be no wholesale change, I don't think. I mean, things sort of are going the way they're going. And it might be leading up to a cataclysmic thing of some sort.
Well, yeah, we're
or not.
you say we're looking at a little more close to home, right? Than the, let's say, the inevitability of a species-wide cataclysm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure we are.
Right. Keep it
Hopefully,
keep it simple.
keep it,
Keep
close
it
to home.
simple and kind of personal, if that means anything, and real close to home. And
Well, I mean,
just look at
it's true that way too.
just call it the spontaneous manner in which you feel obliged to participate in or craft a scenario that defines whatever behavioral boundaries or behavioral options there might be for you in any given circumstance. It's like if you pull the plug on consciousness, just like you could walk away from a movie that's not holding your attention, or a half-eaten meal that you're sated and you've got no more lust for chewing.
Unless it's steak.
Yes, unless it's steak. Right. You could say most often if we're aiming for a state change, you could say we want something to cease or slow down or become quiet or less annoying, less afflictive, less compulsive, right? Yeah, so you could say that way that we're typically in relationship with our experiences, we want what's already present to be turned or tuned down. Well, flip it. See if you can't discover a quality of being that just won't turn on in the first place.
Rather than one that won't turn off.
That's right. See, we're always trying to ameliorate that which is already on, that is somehow bothering or afflicting us. We rarely sense just here, just now, being unable to launch. Right? You're unable to launch, meaning project, promote, enter into a condition that then a moment later you want to turn down.
This is reverse psychology.
Yeah, think of it as kind of a reversal.
If it won't launch, how are you supposed to detect it?
Well, yes, exactly.
It's almost like consciously trying to make something happen and realize you can't do it.
No, you can't. See, that's funny because the moment we're occupying the subtlest set of conditions, it's too late. We want things to be turned down.
Well, it's interesting to me, I think in terms of turning things down so that I can relax and do whatever.
Yeah, right.
But it sounds like what you're suggesting is sort of bringing things up. Or I don't know if, I'm not totally clear on it, whether it's bringing up what that quality that can't be turned down anymore.
Yeah, you mean you're
I don't know how to express it.
presence doesn't not have to be accompanied by you as an operator or you as an agent. it's a curious reflex. That presence seems to be accompanied habitually by me as the operator, me as the agent, me as the getter or the doer or the refuser.
Or the perceiver.
Absolutely, me as the perceiver. Yeah,
The homunculus.
that's right. A homunculi gone wild. I mean, the sense of self, meaning suggesting you as an ongoing operation of engaged consciousness or decision or thought, manipulation, refusal, memory, planning, pacing, spacing in, spacing out. What would this feel like if that just weren't operating? Where it's, you could say it's difficult to launch yourself. It's difficult to light the fuse. Which is such a curious quality of feeling, because it's antithetical to the typical relationship we have with people, places, things, and ourselves, which is to try to tune it down. Right.
Doesn't it seem like what you're talking about is something different than what people would normally call the awake state, meaning awake versus REM sleep versus deep sleep?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, because it's not,
something different.
it's not, well, it's not defined by whether you're in the waking state, the sleeping state, the dreaming state, or the deep sleep state. It's not defined by any of those.
Because it's not a state.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
But wouldn't one of those states be more of a portal, if you will, to this condition?
Well, you know, I mean, yeah, you
Condition's the wrong
you could certainly argue that, you know, deep dreamless sleep would have to be the closest approximation. Yeah. I mean, you know, yogis with a few years of experience under their belt won't hesitate to remark that the waking state, the sleeping state, the dreaming, or the deep sleep state are non-binding. There's no real, right, qualitative difference between them, which is an interesting promulgation. Like, because for us, you know, being awake is like this shit, opinions and triggers and ACOA issues and everything else we've got. And we crave, as, you know, Nan pointed out, you know, setting down the world, setting down the day, and entering into, right, non-directed, relaxed sleep, subtle consciousness. Why not play around with the possibility of feeling this, whatever it is or isn't, pre-launch, before you've launched? before we have a story to tell or a story to resolve. You can't make sense of anything. You don't need to make sense of anything. You can't be certain of anything. You don't need to be certain of anything. You don't have to make sure you have a plan or a contingency. You know, even a spiritual quandary or a suitable solution for it. So your presence is not. You don't have a companion. There's no companion in presence which looks, feels, or sounds like you. That's what kind of tires us out. That's what fatigues us, is the seemingly insistent presence of our own processing. I'm processing present experience through the filter of me, through thought and feeling and choice and decision and rumination and abstraction and hypotheticalism and justification and validation, and right?
It's like a totally intimate feeling of being with a loudmouth all the time.
Yeah, right? Sure, right? Yeah.
It's a give me a break type of deal.
Absolutely. Yes, it is. You know, when we're present, always insistently, boorishly present, then you know we're just living in a story. We're living in fantasy. We are triggered and triggering, you know, triggered and triggering. Underneath it, prior to it, adjacent to it, there's this, without the annoying commentary of you. There's just this. And you're not struggling against your commentary. It's just, it won't launch. It just won't launch. Yeah. So there's nothing then you need to, there's no compensatory reply, see? Because you just won't launch. So, you know, but what? Be with it, accept it, you know, let it go. I mean, none of these things are relevant because those are all compensatory. Post-launch. But pre-launch, what? Do what? About what? You won't launch. You won't lift off. You can't light the fuse. So there's no story going on. There's no entertainment happening.
But the pre-launch scenario, for me,
Yeah.
doesn't last too long.
Well, its duration is not necessarily that important. You know, a glimpse here and there will take you down.
I think the beauty is in seeing it, just watching for it.
Yeah, it's felt. Because there's this presence is, you know, not an idea, right? I mean, we have a lot of ideas about what we refer to as presence. Those come furiously in
Yeah.
without hesitation.
Yeah, certainly there's ideas around it.
Yeah, that's right. But the primacy of you is not an idea. And although, you know, this, whatever this is or isn't, occurs organically, you can be on the lookout for what this feels like, what you feel like when you're not launching. You know, even enlightenment as a hoped for ameliorative is not important. You know, all the calories in the books read, right? And the time spent enjoying so many lovely personas of the craft so that, you know, someday you could be like Jed McKenna, a rare man or woman. It's gone. It's just gone. You know, I mean, even to refer to it as the end of seeking is saying too much attention, right? Is being solicited.
Does seem to be, excuse me, quieting down or something, you know, the feeling of it is,
Yes, because the rapid fire nature of association, which is object driven, just turns off. Because every thought and every feeling and every trigger and every resolution and every amends, every fourth step is, right, is occurring in an object field. We're overcome by a plethora, the insistent plethora of objects. That's post-launch. Let's say you become sensitive to a Gaiac harmonic. It's the Schumann resonance or something of that nature. 3 point something hertz. You know, I don't know the details, but you see, there's a resonant presentation. That resonant presentation is, let's call that presence.
I have that harmonic.
You have that harmonic downloaded, so you can play it on your computer. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. I can put my music into, I don't know. Somebody suggested it, some
Yeah.
musical thing I did.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it's what it does. I do know that when the guy, he might have been there, she might have been there. Yeah. There was some guy who did a drum circle at Pueblo.
Mm-hmm.
It was like a musical thing, it was very, normal. And, I'm sorry.
Thank God for that.
It happens
It was
occasionally.
fun, there was a lot of people there. He played an instrument in that hertz or whatever,
Yes.
a flute maybe, or,
Oh, I know what
do you
you're
know what I'm
talking about.
Remember? Yeah.
I don't remember
Were you
what it's
there,
called.
Ian? And it just, like, the room just went whoosh.
Mhm.
It was kind of cool. I mean, if I felt something, but maybe it was my imagination, but I don't know.
Yeah.
We're always looking for those experiences. It's kind of like a cheap fix or something.
Mhm.
You can find plenty of experiences, but that's not. It's just we had another experience. Temporary.
You see anything that arises in your field of receptivity as an idea, right? As an opinion, a reflection on things, creates objects. The ideas are objects appearing in your so-called consciousness, and you assign meaning to them, consequence, things to repeat, pursue, avoid, tell your friends about, never think about ever again if you could. You see? And this is arising absolutely spontaneously. Any idea, any thought, any feeling, any recollection, any opinion about it, what to do, what not to do. The next impulse. It's just arising absolutely autonomously, spontaneously.
It feels like there are certain things that are more apt to allow me to draw down, if you want to call it that,
Mm-hmm.
and let all the noise abate.
Yes.
And flame is certainly one, and tone is another. And could be that it's, those special frequencies. Often, of course, there's this jazzing up of things, and that just doesn't seem to work. And there's the storyline that gets thrown onto it. When you're talking about angels and fairy kind of stuff. But the basics seem to me to be really a way to draw it down, although I don't do it that much. I don't sit and look at a candle very often. I do it here. And I don't put on just I do have a tape of sweet music that has a lot of that stuff,
Mm.
but I don't really use that too much. But it feels like, sometimes a cheat helps. You know, it's like, when, you get caught up in the day.
Yeah, well, see, drawing a picture around the day that you've lived prior to now or might live hence, it's just another object.
It's another image.
Yeah, see, that's what's useful, not what you've done prior to now or what you might do hence, let's say with a candle or a sleep tape or with a nice glass of scotch. It's just here. Here's where you either consent to objects, right? Or you fail to launch. It's really nice that way, because then something like some rarefied idea of some kind of self-liberation bullshit in your future, once you, right, turn the tumblers and crack the safe, that's just another object.
Yeah, fail to launch sounds intriguing. I mean, it sounds like on the surface is a failure, but it's like this wonderful thing.
Oh yes, yes, yes.
Launch.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I'm sorry.
Because objects,
No.
right? Objects appear in, can we call it, the spaciousness of attention. You're appearing to yourself through reflection on objects as an object in presence, spaciousness of attention, which is not a place, of course. So let's say you get a few moments of object-free attention. Cool. Well, that's that. Object-free attention. You don't launch. That's the, can we say, the fecund spaciousness of your self, but not as an object, not as a creature, not as a subject, not as a, agent, not as an agenda, not as time, not as doing, not as becoming.
Achieving, yes.
At all. Yeah. Yeah. Just this spacious awareness, which does not belong to anyone. I mean, of course, it's misleading, but it's, kind of suggests something, open and mirthful. And you need not become bound by any object that may appear in this spaciousness that suggests that you are, right, an independent corporeal entity. You don't obviously drop dead, at least few do. Every once in a while you get, a real lucky one that just falls right over. They don't even get a chance to say thank you. They just drop dead on the spot, and you're like, better call the wife. Exactly. Yeah, really. The relaxation became so absorbing. It just left the body on the spot.
That's winning the lottery, man.
Yeah, that's major lottery. Powerball. So you have the great good fortune not to self-homicide just through delight. You get the opportunity to immerse in that object-free delight where there's no clinging and there's no becoming. There's no utility.
And no abandonment issues.
None. How can there be? That's right. Because that which could be abandoned is an object. And that which would do the abandoning, whether other or self, would also be an object. And objects are
That's the feeling.
ideas.
Everybody has abandonment.
Yes.
At least that's mine. Or one of the big ones.
I think, yeah, I mean,
So ultimately, it boils down to that.
yes.
What would happen? It was like when I was talking to Adam. It's like, what would happen if I was truly nothing?
Fair enough.
Nothing to cling to.
Yes.
Nothing, like, I would be writhing on the floor, but I don't feel like I'd be writhing anymore. I feel like, but I still kind of want something to cling to. Like, I think I have a fear, and that's where the abandonment comes in. I need something to cling to. Don't you think?
I don't know. I mean, we're all taking a curious adventure together, and no one, since there's no destination, there's no rules, right? Whatever is occurring in your experience, that's the novelty that's important to you. Has to be.
Somebody get inside my head and explain this to me.
John Malkovich.
Where's John Malkovich when you need him?
Yeah, where's John Malkovich when you need him? Inside your own head.
Have to pay him extra for dangerous duty.
Yeah.
What's that?
Have to pay him extra. for
Hazard
dangerous
duty.
Hazardous duty.
Hazard duty premium.
Doors might come off.
Yeah. Well, it's a lovely reflection, to see that a week ago, a month ago, a year ago, an encounter with spaciousness might have triggered, abandonment issues, some kind of writhing or wiggling free of a discomfort, kind of an existential discomfort. And then sometime down the road, you can have another, let's call it vital encounter with object-free awareness, and it's not scaring the shit out of you.
What's that puzzle that you can't solve? Is that
The
is
Rubik's
that a
Cube.
code? What is?
Guardian's Knot
Yeah,
is
like
a
that.
flipped,
Yeah.
thingamabob. Yeah, I mean, there's other puzzles, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what it is, right? Like you can't really solve because you can't.
Well,
There's nothing to solve.
there's nothing to solve, right? Anything that appears that you would wish to solve, again, is an object appearing in, right, spacious awareness that doesn't launch. We have a really nasty habit of needing to be sure about something, right? And this needing to be sure about something is just kind of a tricky way of insisting on the myth of our own continuity.
And that we have a certain amount of power, and power to solve a puzzle, for example, or to chart our course,
Well, sure, once you've anthropomorphized, once you've launched, then, the imagination of having vital powers is remarkably seductive.
And once you have that feeling, to have that feeling and then just step back from it. Not always an easy thing to do. I mean, you might do it for a little bit and then get back.
Well, again, we can only function, well, obviously we can function in an ongoing daydream forever, right? Up until the grave and beyond. But the bias I'm suggesting is that the vitality of our functioning or our interest or our discovery is always just here, just now. Whether spacious awareness has become enamored of objects, therefore suggesting itself to be an object. Yeah. Right. So what would you call it? The opportunity for being yourself without being anything at all is always at hand. A candle, in a meeting like this can be a, useful accoutrement, right? Yeah, setting the atmosphere, right? Setting the stage somehow. Those are fine as helpmates, of course. But you don't have to travel far, and you sure as hell don't have to fix anything to just see that you needn't launch. Without any great struggle or justifications or, anything, right? Because all that stuff is the movement of, oh, let me prepare myself. Oh, I got to be in the right mood. Oh, let me do this and let me do that. Oh, I'm too buzzing and busy about this. Oh, let me resolve. You see? All right. I mean, a tsunami.
Get this project done first, and then I can.
Yes, right. You've always got a tsunami of objects at your disposal on tap with no effort and no fee. The fee might be, your own sobriety. The fee you could say is loss of self, as in big uppercase self, by being absorbed in lowercase self, right? Yeah, right. The ease of being is drowned out by the rush of objects.
That's normal.
Yes, that's right. Frequent, let's say. I don't know what normal is. We often find ourselves, let's say, struggling through what appears to be a field of want, or a field of if only, a field of thinking we need to resolve X, Y, Z before we're entitled or we can gift ourselves to absolute rest, right? We're just loaded with justifications for distraction. Compulsively, right? Compulsively overwhelmed with justifications for distraction. And everyone that was here 100 years ago, where are they now? Yeah. Right. Yes, and the beginning of that 100-year span is always refreshing, right? Yeah, each moment is always the the last moment of 100 years that began 100 years ago, right?
Trumpets blare, enter a new moment.
That's right.
Da-da-da.
That's right.
That's the harmonic. That's the harmonic.
And even though everyone that was here 100 years ago, for sake of argument, 108 years ago, is gone, right? More maggot farms are being birthed than maggot farms are dying. Thus, the population, right, expands, swells, continues to swell. I don't know, so much for the soul idea.
I don't know. I mean, I kind of think of soul as the thing that we're talking.
Yeah, sure, you could call it that. Why not?
I mean, any name is going to be fraught with misinterpretation.
Well, it's an object. Yeah. We're trying to, boil it down and boil it down and boil it down so that, because it's so easy to be overwhelmed by, all kinds of distraction and distractibility, psychiatric and emotional and sensual, right, and somatic, and space and time and to-do lists and regret. All right. I mean, just the whole human field of what we call human meme and human sentiment, right? Human aspiration and human disappointment is, it's nonstop. How do you think Byron Katie continues to make a living? Right? Because she's plugged into an annuity that will never abate. I mean, if you're going to be an investor, right, in the new age marketplace, like most of them are, you want to plug into an annuity that will never abate, namely human distractibility and human suffering. You are never going to run out of clients. Ever. So, right, you don't want to be a client. Let's keep it simple. You don't want to be anybody's client. How to get off their roster. Right? The Night Sky Sangha is pretty simple. You don't want to be someone's client. You want to know how to get off the roster. How to unsubscribe. Simple. Here this is. Don't launch. But not through will. Not through choice or vow. You fail to launch organically as a gift of intelligence. That intelligence is not about, mercurial IQ. It's feelingness. Here's this. How curious. Oh, there's no objects. Oh, how incredible that there's this and there's no objects. I'm not an object. Things appearing in mind don't last long enough for me to be triggered by them or turn them into anything. Absolutely lucid.
The trick is the habits that keep bombarding, the compulsive habits.
Well, yes, because that's their nature. That's why we call them that, right? Yeah.
And to release, to relax. That's the only way through. I think.
Yes.
But
right, presence.
it's a certain
Yes,
quality of something
right. Presence,
to relax.
feeling presence, learning to trust just through repetitive encounter, feeling presence, feeling presence, feeling presence. Your loyalty shifts. and the beauty, the beatitude that is present with the presence when it's not belittled by objects will earn your attention, earn your trust. And you actually notice that you might be participating in fewer stories with less vehemence. Because presence is making itself known to you. And you're happy to rest in it without having to negotiate or justify or squelch the presence of objects. And something shifts so that rather than always feeling like you want to turn things down, right, escape or avoid or wiggle free of some kind of imposition, some kind of pressure, you start discovering quite the opposite, that you can't launch. You're so fucking chill. You can't launch. I'm sorry, yes.
Aside from maybe deep sleep, moments of whatever, a conversation with my brother, my imaginary brother,
Uh-huh.
who triggers my imaginary buttons of abandonment or whatever.
Uh-huh.
It was funny because I had this conversation with him, and it was like the same conversation that has occurred. There's, like wah, wah, wah.
Yeah, womp, womp.
I'm back in that same old groove again.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean? And yeah, it did bother me a little bit, but it bothered me more from the perspective of, yeah, we're here again. Yeah, Chris, you keep on doing that. Chris is in my mind.
Yes.
And that's what I was trying to make the point of, is that this woman, like when she said that, I don't think she was saying it like, and I don't know how she was saying it, but how I recorded it was like, or how I perceived it was like,
Mm-hmm.
wah, 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 like, and in the same old groove again,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's a quandary of sorts,
Maybe.
Thank you.
And do you know what I mean?
I do. I think so. It's a quandary. You're a quandary. You see, it's the particular circumstance or trigger or flow or relation is, just another passing symptom, right? It's never the actual circumstance that is the problem.
I seem to be annoying people when I talk. But, and I'm annoying myself almost, you know what I mean? It's
We
a,
always ignore ourselves.
do I annoy you guys when I like,
Well, I annoy me, I know that.
because I get a little bit anxiety, or, I don't know what it is, I'm hot anyway.
It's just a temperature
Fabulous.
thing. I get it. Yeah, I understand.
I can blame it on a hot flash. It has to be good for something. You know.
Look, this is terrifying. Whatever's coming to your mind right now is absolutely contrived. And that's what we are kind of unwilling to cope with.
No, that's just it. I get that it's contrived.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean?
But then it still happens.
That it still happens.
Okay.
And it's also kind of like, it seems like progress, but every time I think I've made progress, boom, I get, hit from left field with something that I was, but it's okay because it's kind of.
Everything that's arising in the expressive field of your experience that is gestured or spoken or shared, which is lovely to hear, is just the stream of contrivance. We don't want ourselves and our expressive nature to be belittled by someone else, referring to it as a contrivance. We want to be sure of something. We want to be existent and evident and thoughtful and valuable somehow. We want our past and our present and our future to construct some kind of meaningful arc.
Why?
For the sake of our autobiography.
Short-lived though, maybe.
Short-lived though it may be.
So why do we want that?
I don't know. Well, let's just say once you start questioning the profound rhythm of one's own insistence on verifiability, right? Individuated verifiability, then you might discover why you're fond of it, or why you're growing impatient with it, or why it's incarcerating, or why it's entertaining. Yeah. I mean, if there's a why, and there is none, it has to be your why. No one else's why will do.
You're right, it's more a why of. Please tell me why.
The Buddha and people like him kind of made the mistake of suggesting that he knew why. He didn't. He didn't and he doesn't. Nobody can, because there is none. I mean, it's okay to ask your parents why, but around the time we turn 60, it might be time to back off that. Approaching our 60th birthday, it might be a good idea to see that nobody knows why about anything.
If all of us could just let go of
Yes.
needing to be something or someone, would be right for all that.
Sure.
I mean, there'd be no like wars and stuff and, no
Maybe.
agendas and no behaviors because nobody would be, yeah, I mean, that's, I guess.
You could say that is some kind of intelligence unfurls in your experience, maybe it's fair to say that we are less likely to be violent or violating. Yeah, if you start moving in a more sanguine way with the harmonic, then yeah, that impulse for violence maybe starts to change. I mean, the territorialism
Yeah, territory.
that we see on the geopolitical scale is, you could say, just an iteration on a grand scale of cellular territorialism, of bacterial territorialism. It's a mitotic impulse. For a cell to replicate, right? Enjoy that storm. We'll see you around.
Yeah. Want the Panera tomorrow?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think the snow's coming until later, so they say. So what the hell not?
Maybe that's why people that, like are very old and end up in the hospital, they end up getting these, are a lot more susceptible to bacteria because they're really in the system and the system just doesn't want to fight it anymore.
Sure, yeah. There's mitochondria starts losing its verve.
That too.
All right, then.
Well, there's a little bit of fear in that.
Why
If I
not?
just let go of my mitochondrial, the bacteria will take over. And that's another one of those loops because in one way you do kind of want to let go because it will put you like maybe in a state of peace, But on the other hand,
Yeah.
you have to be completely peaceful with what is, Now, if that means the bacteria are taking over, I guess it does.
Yeah. Who knows?
Yeah. What happened in the Matrix when because like what were those guys in suits just kept on appearing?
Oh, yeah, Mr. Smith.
Mr. Smith just kept on appearing, right? And then
Yeah.
finally his way out of that was.
Whose way out? Mr. Smith would have been happy to continue to replicate.
No, but yeah.
Neo.
Yeah, what was the way out?
Neo took him
One
down.
of them died, right? But what was the other one? The main character, the good-looking guy. What's his name?
That was Neo.
Keanu Reeves.
Yeah.
Keanu Reeves. Yeah.
Yeah.
What
It's
was
been
the
a while.
way? What was the trick, so to speak?
Well, I mean, it was a brief scene, it was a final showdown between Mr. Smith and Neo.
Yeah.
And Mr. Smith, plunged his hand or a weapon or whatever it was into Neo's, body, literally plunged inside, thinking that would be the death blow of Neo, which turned out to be call it an antiviral event. And that's what destroyed Mr. Smith. I mean, that's, I don't know if was there anything behind that? It was kind of a curious sleight of hand,
A symbolic kind of thing.
It was definitely a symbolic sleight of hand, yeah. Right.
Worth it another one.
Yeah.
You bet.
I like the whole when Neo sort of flexes